Good afternoon. We're going to do the watch list for the week of August 31st. Tomorrow will be the last day of the month for August. Hopefully this week will be a little more volatile than it has been the last few weeks. It's been really choppy, but what I'm anticipating is for pull-ups is that what's been happening is that we've been gapping up overnight and dropping at the morning. So I've been doing like pop and drops. So I'm anticipating we're probably going to end up grinding higher unless there's a reason to pull back. We get some kind of news or something like that. So I would imagine that we're going to gap up overnight, have morning pullbacks, and recover midday like it's been happening for the last couple weeks. So that's what I'm anticipating for SPY. Now on the bullish side, I've got Lily. You get a bullish divergence right here in the RSI and other MACD, so I would watch it over the 148 area for push to 149, 150, even getting into the 151 area. And if it can manage to break out over that, you can see it push to 152. It's got a gap up here into the 160s on the daily on Lily, so LLY. We can see if it will do that or not. Next one is going to be Netflix. It's pulled back from its insane run to 550 or 549, but it did close above the middle Keltner on the hourly. The hours curling, 30 minutes curling, and it did bounce off the daily RCT trend line. So I mean, it could pull back down to the 510 area, even down to the 500. It could, but if it does, I mean, I'd be interested in taking it there too. But if it does manage to get over these five spikes, if it gets over the 525, I watch for it to push to 530, even up into the 535 range. Yeah, it probably could get to the 550 again, but I don't know if it's going to have the strength to break out. It depends on if any other news comes out on Netflix, but like I said, it has room to drop to 500 too, so be cautious to flip-flop on that. The next one is Clorox. I know Clorox has been down, but I don't know about the areas in the States, but a lot of areas in Canada you can't buy Lysol products, so cleaning products. I would imagine that Clorox is going to be in demand again because schools are back in session. COVID-19 is going to start picking up in the next week or two, so I expect Clorox to start getting momentum again, and their products are going to start probably clearing off the shelves if they already haven't already. But been noticing, like I said, that Lysol products are just, you can't buy them here. They're just all sold out in the area, in the Toronto area. So and even in other areas of Canada. So I think that Clorox is going to start picking up. So I'd watch it over 218 for a push to 220. Then you get this 223 area. Then you get the 226, 227, then up to 230. So I would watch for Clorox to take off, and it does manage to get over this 230 area. It's probably going to retest the highs, which is 239 on this daily. So I would watch that on the on Clorox. So yeah, the 239.87 is all-time high. Next one is going to be BA. Boeing, it's just staying in this channel. It's staying above the RCT trend line on the daily. You know, I just think it's getting ready to take off. We should start seeing some good news about the 747 MAX. So I watched it over 177 for push to 180. 180's been the real hard area for it to get over, but if it does clear the 180, it's probably going to get to the 185, 190 really fast. So I would watch BA to turn around. Johnson & Johnson is another one. Now the reason what I'm seeing on Johnson & Johnson is the weekly, you know, it gets over this 154 area. It's probably going to retest the 157 and take new all-time highs. So I would watch Johnson & Johnson for anything over 154 for push to all-time highs. which is 157. Could see 160, so I would definitely watch that. Shopify, I mean, this thing, every time it pulls back a little bit, it rockets. So it did fill the gap on the daily and the hourly right here. So anything over 1045 pushed to 1080 to even 1100. So I would watch a reversal on Shop. Facebook, I mean, the hourly is bull flagging right here. It closed above the middle Kellner, but it is outside of the Kellner on the daily. But Facebook, I mean, it can just keep going and keep going. So I would watch it over 295 to 300. If it gets over 300, all-time high is 304.67. So I could make another run for all-time high. Win is another one. Win is just starting to pick up now. I do anticipate we're probably going to have like another kind of like massive second wave in mid to end September, and maybe even possibly another lockdown. So I would consider Win to be a short-term bullish, but I would look at it over the 93 for push to 100, and it gets to 100, and it manages to clear 100 with airspeed at 105 to 110. So I would keep an eye on Win. Like I said, it would not be a long-term hold. I think that something's going to end up happening in September with COVID, possibly another lockdown. So we'll have to see what happens. Now Roku on the bearish side is on. Now Roku, I know it had a strong day on Friday, but it's just, I don't know, I'm not convinced. I think that it gets under this 171 area. It's going to come back down and test the 165, even possibly down into the 160. So it can, break out of this one over 175 and go to the all-time high is 177.54. So, but I would expect at least to pull back to 165, maybe even to 160. It does have a gap down here at 150, so we'll have to keep an eye on if it starts to really sell off. But it is like in a little symmetrical triangle, or perhaps even more of a descending triangle right here. So I do like it better on the short side. And you have it like a divergence going on the RSI, and the RSI is making lower highs, that's making higher highs. So that's a telltale that something could be, momentum could be changing. Now Target, I mean, it keeps making lower lows on the daily, so I think that I would watch underneath 150 to retest to 147. If it does break below 147, which it could this time, and this gap can fall down to the 140 and fill a gap. So I would watch Target on the way down. Disney is another one. There's all kinds of things going on with the sports, so we'll have to see what happens if any more news comes out of games being canceled or seasons being canceled or any other related to Disney or the parks or anything like that. So or Disney Plus, but I am liking it below 135 to push to 133.75 to 132. And if it does manage to get to this, he's got so many lines here I can't see. If it does manage to get to 127, it's probably going to end up bouncing off the 123. So I would watch it, like I said, in the 135 to 133 to the 130 area, then the 128.50. So I would watch Disney on the way down. Tesla, I'll be watching Tesla and Apple this week because of the splits to see how they react, and maybe the options won't be so expensive on Tesla now that the range is going to be significantly dropped. So I would watch Tesla under the 435. There's a gap fill down here at the 408. So Tesla could possibly see 400. It's not going to have a massive trading range like it has been. So it could, I would definitely watch the 425 area for it to possibly bounce, because you get some support right in here in that area. So I would watch that. I'll have to see what the options look like tomorrow. Hopefully they're priced better and they're not as bad as they has been. It should be a lot better than what it was in the past. UPS, I know at UPS this just keeps going up and up and up, but I do like it under the I will say under the 160 area. And if it gets to 160, it's probably going to go to 158, then the 155, and if it does manage to break the 155, it's probably going to come down to 145. So UPS should be ready for a pullback, but we'll have to see what happens now. SHAQ. What I'm seeing on SHAQ is it's at the RCT trend line on the weekly. It usually reacts to it quite a bit. Right here, it rejected it and it uses it for support, uses it resistance. So I'm going to assume that it's going to act as resistance and it's going to reject. So I would watch it underneath this probably 65, 66 area for push down to 63 to even to $60 area on SHAQ. So definitely watch that. And the last one is Apple. Like I said, we'll be watching Apple. Apple is, now that it's done the split, it's not going to move nearly as much as it used to. So the options are probably going to be really cheap and stuff like that. So I would watch Apple under 124.50 and for a push to 123 to even to 120 area. Assuming that it pulls back. Usually when they have these forward splits, they usually pull back a little bit, at least for a day or two, maybe even a week. So it could take off too. So I'm probably not going to play Apple because it's not going to move. The range on it's going to be like $1 or $2. It's going to be the range is going to be very, very tight now. So I don't like narrow ranges like that. So we'll just have to see what happens with Apple. If you are not in the room, you can find the Discord link in the description of the video or the bio on Twitter or StockTwits or something like that. So that's going to do it for the watch list. And hope this helps, and should see what kind of a week. Hopefully it'll be more volatile and something will happen. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.